and ended up coming into the office and speaking with Catherine because of miscommunication that was out there, people directing comments to all directors that weren't true, and we basically were, it appeared that we were basically just sitting on our hands and saying nothing. So what I envision us doing, and I would like to definitely get the communications committee ramped back up to go over some of this stuff. One of there's two things that I see here. One, we have some current forms of communication, and then what I feel are some new ideas for communication. The first thing that I know of is, of course, the official website. Yes, I know people don't like it, people can't get around in it, but it's here, it's now. So we all have to learn to use it. We all need to learn to communicate using it, okay? Right now, there is a section where they can ask board members questions or ask the board questions. And we receive it from Catherine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I saw the process going. She poses the question to the board and asks for feedback. In some cases, we get full director replies. In other cases, we don't. We need to improve it. Okay, we are directors of this association, and it is our responsibility to communicate, whether it's with the residents or whether it's with each other. And we are doing a very bad job of doing that communication internally, okay? So when Catherine poses a question, or when the general manager poses a question, by darn it, there should be 7 responses. Either that, or we're saying it to him, and the president is who responds to the general manager or whoever, okay? We have to start doing this. I have my director's email on my phone, so when there is an email that comes in, I know it within a few minutes, okay? I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that, but we need to be looking at these emails and be conscious of it. And unfortunately, we are 24/7, okay? So we have to remember this. Whether we're on vacation, whether we're here, whether we're at work, all right? I'm looking at it when I'm at work.
Well, unfortunately, some of us work in a secure facility where we can't receive emails.
And that's fine, but see, we need to know that, so that we know that Bob's not gonna answer. Right.
Yeah.
But we need to know that. We need to know when people are going on vacation, so that we know that so-and-so is not gonna be responsive very fast or at all, depending on where they're going, okay? We have to know this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so what do you think is an acceptable response time to get all 7 board members back in touch?
Well, it depends, unfortunately, it depends on whether it's during the day of a work week, or whether it's a weekend, or it's an evening. Because, like Bob says, there's sometimes where maybe he can't because of the fact that he's, you know, he's not allowed to have his phone with him, or something like, or can't read those kinds of emails. We have to say within a day, I would think.
So a 24-hour period?
I would think a 24-hour period.
We should write that down, you know, based on a question received on a weekday versus question received on the weekend. But that's, you know, put it in a policy so we can manage everyone's expectations.
Okay.
And when I send an RFI out to the regions, I give them a deadline. You're going to get this back to me by 1,300 a day period.
Okay, so could we, are you finished, or you still got, you got?
Oh, I've got a lot more,
keep going.
but that's fine. Okay, so anyway, so the directors are supposed to reply. Catherine then compiles those responses, right? And then she constructs what she believes to be a consensus of what we've just said to her, right? Am I correct? Okay. And then she posts it to the website. After she's probably should, and I don't remember if she really, I think she does sometimes, is send it back out and say, okay, this is what I have, is that good for everybody? And we all reply back. Okay. Then she posts it. And you're right, time frame was one of my things to ask, what should we say for a time frame? Because they need to know, when are they gonna see something on the website from their question, right? So if I'm reading this correctly, you're thinking, or maybe I should come up with some time frames and then we vote on it at the next meeting.
I'd like to see, I mean, I like the way you're going with your policy, I'd like you to develop a
Okay.
policy for us to, because you're right, it's very frustrating to sit there
Yeah.
and respond to 30 emails when you can just do one post on it.
Right.
But the thing is to get these guys to actually go to the website.
Right, well,
That's
but
the
we have
official mode of
consistency. We have to have consistency. If we start doing the consistency, if we start posting things out there, that's where they're gonna say, oh, I need to go to such and such. I need to go, you know, oh, and they're gonna answer me in such and such time,
But
okay?
are we
But
on
we
the-
need to post that also
Are
on
we
the
on the
website.
same page here now? The things that we post come from the president. We do not post things by ourselves.
Well, that's
Correct.
It gets turned
Well,
around
We should
so
post,
much.
we should post one answer.
One answer,
So the question that you're thinking that all 7 directors would contribute,
we
Catherine would
contribute to
draft
Catherine,
something,
correct.
and then we would
Right.
post it as a group.
Now, it can be a letter like what you did, okay? It could be a letter that comes from you, but Catherine is the one, if it's Catherine, I'm assuming this is Catherine that's
It's
doing all this,
Catherine.
okay. Then it would be Catherine that would post that letter to the residents and say, look, this is what is going on. Now, on that same thing, your letter went out and said that it was coming from you. Now, we need to explain why you said that. And the reason is because you wrote it and you posted it. You did not bring it to the rest of us, okay? So if it comes from you and it just says, you know, this is just from me, this is one opinion, that's what that means. It's his opinion, okay, but it is most likely what the board thinks. But he can't say that because he's not sent it around to the rest of us to okay it.
Deb, can I just
Mhm.
bump right in here with you? When the president posted his letter out there, I thought to myself, that is exactly the way I think most of the board members felt.
Right.
Now, I told my wife, I said, babe, because I don't do no Facebook or none of this, I says, get on there, I want to tell them that what the president just said, I agree 100%. And she says, Mike, if you put that on there, that's just going to make it even seem less likely that the people will believe it. There has been so many lies told in here. The people, even once he put this on there, look at all the comments that was made. Nothing but negativity all the way through
Well, that's
this.
because they're not getting what they deserve.
But when they got it, then they still weren't happy.
Yeah, but it was 4
Well,
or
it was
5
too long.
days after, you know, the whole
No,
thing.
You're
Can I-
right. It took too long to post.
Correct.
And that's the reason that I didn't send it out to everybody, because
Right,
I've been through this before, where we wanted to respond to an email. You remember this, when we had the conversations about selling the land out there. It took us almost 5 days to get 7 people to agree on the wording. So that's why I sent out what I did, and I made it very clear, this is my opinion, but I think I'm pretty close to what everybody was thinking.
Right.
But the reason I didn't send it around for everybody is because, like I said, the last time we went through this.
Oh, and that's
Five days to get a
fine.
response out.
That's fine. I mean, I'm personally not saying that that's a bad thing, okay? Because you're right. We needed to get something out there and we needed to get it out as soon as possible,
Yeah.
okay? But, that's why I'm trying to let them know is that, you know, when it comes from the president, yes, you need to say either 1, it's coming from you, or 2, this is coming from the board. And when it says it's coming from the board, that means that all 7 of us have seen it and agreed to it. Okay, so that's what and again, maybe these are things that we have to put on the website as a standard thing. It sits right there, and so people, when they do something for the board, they ask questions, they see this information. When it says this is what it means. When you'll get it within 24 hours, whatever we decide to put on there. But we should, you know, stick to this.
I mean, anything you want to write up there, I'd be happy to read up. So go
Let
ahead.
me about,
No, let her go.
go ahead. You- Go ahead. Ms. Arden.
Thank you. I think what you're saying is a very good idea. We talked about this privately. But what we're still doing is we're focusing on being reactive instead of proactive. And the reason we have all these people here tonight, and be sure and come next week and every week, because you should be participating, this is your community. But the reason that we have all these folks here tonight is because we didn't get information out there. Somebody said something to someone, and then it spread, and it got embellished and enhanced and twisted. I'm surprised we're not charged with assassinating Abe Lincoln or something, you know? Everything, all the crazy stuff that was out there.
We do it to ourselves.
Yes, we do,
Right,
and this
that's
is
what you're
what
trying
my
to say.
point is. We need to be proactive. Okay, so we currently have a so-so website. Why don't we just decide tonight, let's make it into a real good website? Why don't we use our Facebook page to get our information out there so that instead of going to Friends of Aquia or Nasty Pants or, you know, Toys R Bombs, whatever you might go to, that there's a place that the residents know that they can go to get the official information and not sit on our hands and not make this so cumbersome that people get frustrated and then the lies become the truths because everybody's repeating them.
Right.
Laura,
But, I'm sorry, go
Uh,
ahead.
Catherine tried to do that. She put up a letter, an answer, that she wanted to post to the members, the public. And she wrote that answer, she ran it by us all, and you emailed back and said, that's beautiful, that's great. Barb says, that's absolutely great. I put back, I believe that also. One of our directors emailed back, are you sure that's all the truth? I mean, that's not very becoming of a director. After Catherine has absolutely sent that email out for all of us to look at and okay it to go out to the public, one of our own questions, is that all the truth?
I didn't say the truth, Mike. What I said is that entirely accurate.
Right, but he also didn't get an answer.
Correct. I didn't get an answer from the president either when I asked him the same
Okay.
question.
Didn't get an answer. So there's a lot of communication that's not going on, okay? But let's get back to what's at hand here.
So it's our responsibility as a director to ask if everything is accurate, to make sure we get the truth out there.
Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Deb, you keep going, finish up with this.
Let's see. So then, okay, besides posting on the website, and I agree with Barb, yes, we've talked about this. However, Facebook is not the one that needs to be the point here. It needs to be the website, because there are people that aren't on Facebook. So I think in order to get to everybody, that should be the number one, at least for right now, okay? But then there is the Facebook page. Now, the question that I have here is as to who all can post on the Facebook page. And I think we really have to have just one person that's posting on that Facebook page. So if we have a multitude of people, then we need to stop that. We need to have one point of contact. Now,
Should be
if there's a,
employee.
right, and it should be an employee, sure.
Deb, what you're saying is we need a PIO. All big organizations have a public information officer, a public affairs officer that is charged with putting the
That's
official
fine.
information out.
That's
And
fine.
that is the voice of that organization or for that, you know.
Well, right now it's Catherine. Catherine's our secretary, and Catherine is the one that, right, and that's.
Is she the voice of the board?
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
so,
the idea would be that what Debbie's saying is that the post, Catherine would tell the board, okay, this post is out there, what do you guys want to say? We'll all tell her our opinions, she'll draft it, she's an excellent writer, and then we'll say, yeah, that sounds good to that. So
Right.
that is the post.
right,
So we
and
just
she
need to
can
make sure
post it
that
on the
it's
website, and she can post it on Facebook. That way it gets to whoever, okay?
Oh, no, honestly, I would prefer we just put it on.
That's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine.
But hand in hand, we need, what Barb said, we need a better website than something
Well,
easier to
yeah,
navigate.
but again, it's just like the front gate, okay? Let's do something now. We have this website, we need to do it now, and we need to start today,
Yeah, but
okay?
you know, when you go to the website, I mean, it's right there, right at the top, ask the board.
Well,
This is right there. You know, the other thing you could do,
Yeah.
ask the board, you could also, you know, I imagine most people here that go on the site also know about the calendar, because you go to the calendar, see what events are going on that day. What we could do is if we post something up there, you could push it over to the calendar
Well, I don't know what kind
Or you
of,
can do a news flash or anything,
yeah, it's a
whatever,
news flash.
link you
More of
over
a
there.
news flash. But, okay, so, anyway, so let's continue.
Yeah, keep going.
We have the signboards that are on the front doors next to the country club. I don't know who has access to those. I don't know what they're necessarily used for. I'll find out. But that's another form that, you know, the little thing that we received on our mailboxes, okay? We could have responded to that, boom, right up there on the country club. Some kind of a letter that says, this is false. What you're seeing is false.
Mhm.
Okay?
We're
And
gonna put signboards out in front of the office here.
exactly, and that was one of my suggestions, definitely.
However, the people who put those things in those post office boxes violated.
Right, well, we can get into all kinds of things. how that
That's,
works.
that's water under the bridge at this point.
Right.
Newspaper box.
Yeah.
Water under the bridge.
Then the signboard at the front gate area, okay? Again, we can use that signboard and say, check the website for information. Important information on the website, you know, just little taglines, just to get people to start looking at the website, okay?
You know what, though, we need to do something about that sign there. It's
Well, yeah.
very hard to read that.
Oh, yeah. And people have said, let's do like one of those ticker tape things. That won't work. You
We've
need
talked
to
that
have
around
a
for a
full
long time.
digital
You
kind
get a
of
full
sign.
digital, and
But
it's $30,000
again,
or something to get the full digital board
right,
up.
that's something that the communications committee can do. All right, so some new ideas, you know, the committees and clubs, we use these teaser signs, you know? Again, we can get generic teaser signs, that if there's something really important, you know, just stick one in there for a few hours. I mean, right around the time when people start coming in, you know, at 5 o'clock or whatever, just to grab people's attention. I was thinking of a banner, but no, I think more of a teaser sign. Teaser sign at the bottom of Richmond. I mean, just that kind of stuff. Signboard outside of here, you know, one of those big signboards that you can post all kinds of stuff, you know, updates and all that kind of
Ed's
stuff.
got that.
Chief and I have talked about this mass emailing. I've started looking into a mass email because it's not just to fight off things, it's also, there's an emergency in the harbor. There's, you know, the derecho or whatever, that kind of thing. So a mass email, and I think this software that we have, Skyline, right? We can try and make sure that we get every head of household emails, and they have to give us an email. I know it doesn't, some people may not want to, but you have to in order to do these emergency mass emails. Okay, meetings, talking about recording and stuff like this. I met with my video audio person at my office, and she recommended a camera that has a specific kind, is a digital camera, and all you do is you take that card, you know what I'm talking about, the card inside, put it in your computer, you copy, paste, and boom, you can paste it onto your website if you've got enough space. You can buy a YouTube business account, paste it on YouTube, put a link on our website, boom, there's your meeting. They can see
YouTube
the
business
meetings.
channels has
Okay.
an unlimited amount of
Yep.
space.
Well, who do you think should be doing that?
This would be, I would start off with the communication committee for recommendations, let them get out there, look for stuff.
But it should be, I mean, should it be coming through the board of directors, or should it be from the community doing this ad hoc, or?
I don't think you want an ad hoc committee doing
No.
anything.
No, it would
We
be
have to be responsible.
recommendations, it would be recommendations to the general manager, and then I guess depending on the cost, he's either got to say yes, or he has to come to the board and say, here's the, like the board out front, you know, the communications division, committee, was the one that came up with, you know, oh, we need to get this board out there, and this thing will be taken to him, and let's say it's over, what is your limit, 5? So it's over $5,000, boom, he's gotta come to the board and say, okay, this is $7,000 for this board, or whatever, you know, and we have to say yea or nay. But it would be the committee, and I'll get Catherine to post it to get people to come onto this communications committee. because we need all kinds of different people, I mean,
Yep.
for different ideas and stuff like that, you know?
You got
Are
two
you on
volunteers
that?
right here, you got two people with
sorry?
cameras right
Are
there.
you-
I can head that up. Then nobody, right now, I don't think anybody's headed it up, because I don't even
And
think
after
it's-
Rob left,
Huh?
after Rob left, I think Rob was running it for a while, and Vic was running it for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, is Vic no longer on that?
He's on it, but I'm getting a board member, there's no board member that's on that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's fine. And the last thing, of course, I mean, Chris knows all about this one, is the radio station. We've got to get that radio station up.
I think I just lost my funding for it back in April. So
Well.
David was working on it, I don't think we moved, we didn't do anything with it.
We can get it for
Find out.
probably $1,200.
That,
We can probably do that for about
we need to find out whether or
I
not
can
we
work.
can do that.
And that's an AM
I'll work
station,
with
correct?
you.
That's an AM station.
How many people are actually going to tune in to an AM station?
Well, there is a sign that's out in the front, if I'm right.
I've seen it ever
And
since
it
I
blinks,
was there.
doesn't it blink?
Don't-
No? Okay, well, then maybe at some point we'd have to get like a blinker or something to say, you know, hello, there's something up there, there's something on that station.
You have traveled before, we have all traveled, and we've seen signs for traffic information tuned to, have you ever really tuned to that station like?
But see, the thing is, you have to get them used to it. That's the thing. You have to get people, you know,
Deb, you're 100% on track.
so
with that.
I'll draft up something. I'm hoping I can get it drafted by our meeting next week.
Okay.
So,
Communication.
tagging on to what Deb was saying, and
Thank
also
you very
hopefully
much.
Ray is will be happy with this. Apparently this speaker system is subpar. We need to see what
Apparently so, yeah.
we can need, if it's all right, we can see what's going on with this, because Ray asked me to get a new one.
As old as me.
That is, okay. So looking at internal communication, right now, I think we're pretty much at a low for internal communication among the directors. I think a lot of what's been going on didn't have to. I think if we communicated effectively amongst each other, a lot of these things would be null and void. And I think that just because some issues that are being undertaken are more sensitive than others, that certain board members should be excluded from those conversations. And because that happened, is this where we're ending up now? We need to work on that. We need to be able to talk to each other. Barbara and I talked today at length, and I know we always push back when she comes, says, hey, we need to do an offsite. We need to do something so we can air everything, get it out of the table, fix it, and move forward. And I think that's entirely appropriate. That I don't know if we can go much worse than backslide much further than where we are right now for all that. So
So what's your recommendation?
I think we do an offsite. Find a date and do an offsite. Sit down. We did one. What was it? 3 years ago, Barb, when you first came on?
2 years
2 years ago. At the country club, everyone sat around the table. We talked. Ken picked up the tab, which was awesome. But we got a lot of things out on the table. We talked through a lot of issues out there because we didn't have that open communication before. We were having, and we solved a lot of those problems. Right now, we don't have open communication between us. A lot of things have been said back and forth. A lot of opinions, a lot of rumors have been going around with the police station, with the chief about everything else. So, as you and I talked before the meeting, at the bottom, I want to make a motion to help put all those rumors and dispel all that, just by getting the board to vote on a motion that basically says any changes to the existing organization, structure, or status of the Quiet Harbor Police Department to include the removal of key positions must be brought before the entire community for a vote.
Well, I've been talking to the other director, and that was only the retention.
Yeah, that's always
Well, good, let's get it to a vote, and let's get it in writing.
It's gonna be the community, that's a vote, we're not gonna vote on
But that's hearsay right now.
But who started the
Yeah,
hearsay?
the trouble is, it left the room
Where did the hearsay
before we
start?
ever had any information
So we're gonna-
to share with the community, and that's where
What
the rumors.
information?
Well, what started was, the security electronic arm information.
Okay.
And from that, going to Lake of the Woods.
Right.
And then from that, because they have a security force, we're looking at various costs. Suddenly, it means we're gonna do away with the
Okay,
police
no, so
department.
the fact
So
is out
the-
there now that we've looked at costs for a private security force for the harbor.
No, we haven't.
Has
We
anybody,
haven't looked at costs.
I haven't seen no cost, but
That's
has
more Facebook
anybody
garbage.
ever
This is
made the
Facebook
statement that somebody wants to get rid of
Mike.
this police?
Talk to the people, talk to the
I'm
board.
sorry, that someone wants to get rid of this police department. Has anybody here ever made that statement? No. I definitely have not made it.
And yet, the
It's out there.
community believes it.
It's out there,
Right.
absolutely.
And so we're gonna create new resolutions and things to stop a boogeyman that doesn't even exist, right?
Yes.
And I'm supposed to be the bad guy. Went up there and gave the police department the cabinets that the finance committee wouldn't do, out of personal pocket money. That person loves the police department, I can tell you that.
All right, let's stop.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's stop.
I shouldn't be there.
All right, we done with the communication?
If I could just say, a real simple thing that we could institute right away is, I think part of the reason sometimes people feel they're being left out of the discussion. I'm not sure, but I bet every one of us has felt that at one time or another in this last year or so. If we all get the same information at the same time, we'll all know what's going on. But if one director pops in and bumps into somebody and hears some piece of information, nobody else knows about it and doesn't share it with everyone else, well, then everyone else is at a disadvantage. If Ken, if I happen to call you on something and you tell me something else, and you don't get around to telling everybody else, but maybe say something to Bob or Don, then it looks like we're intentionally keeping people out of the loop. And I absolutely know that's not going on. There's nothing intentional like that going on. But if we can all, just, if we hear something, maybe share it, maybe put it out in an email. It's something we can work on. It's not perfect, but I think it might help.
I can see how people in the community and maybe other directors would think that something nefarious was going on, because you, I, and Chip were up here in a meeting, but the meeting was with BB&T,
Yep.
and we were discussing transferring
The banking
the bank
services.
accounts. And another day, you, me, and Chip, and the general manager, he was in both of them, were up here again for another meeting with Morgan Stanley. I think it was, is it Morgan? Yeah.
Yes, that was
Morgan
one.
Stanley on the 401k plan and better investments. So people seeing that probably think we're in here discussing other stuff because they don't know that's what we were in here doing.
I think the sad thing there is that people jump to the conclusion that something was.
There's been no discussion in here of getting rid of the police department or getting rid of the police chief. And how in the world that stuff got started, I have no idea. The only thing we've talked about is the gate, that arm system, and what that's gonna do for us.
And chickens.
Huh?
I wanted to bring up chickens.
No.
Seriously?
No.
No, it was a joke.
So Don, will you
It was
second
a
my
joke,
motion?
please.
I don't think we need to.
So you're saying you won't second my
We
motion?
can't do any of that anymore.
Sure we can. No, next week,
Well, next week, let's
we'll make the
wait and see.
motion and
Make the motion and see what happens. I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it. All right, let's get wrapped up. We only have one thing to go.
Chip, can I say something
Oh,
on
that's fine.
communication?
Mhm.
You know, several people have talked to me, and I certainly like this camera thing, and putting it on there, that'd take a lot of burden off of us, but I have volunteered to say that on Thursday morning, Catherine and I will summarize the board meeting to the best of our ability and put it on the website.
Excellent.
And that way, the people can read it, and we'll put the votes or, whatever, so at least they will have that information. This is probably insane, but I do want to encourage any resident that wants to call me, they can call me, and I will, to the best of my ability, explain to them what we're doing, what was said, and I encourage them to do that. I won't always make them happy, but I probably talked to 25 people this week, and I've not had one person leave that telephone conversation that wasn't pleased and understood what happened.
Sounds good. So you're talking about, but you're talking strictly about the board meeting where votes have been taken.
No dogs and something, but that-
You know,
Can Chris send us all a copy of that,
That's right.
what he wants us to agree to?
Well, he'll send you.
Another possibility would be, you know how we're doing quarterly town hall meetings? They're kind of official and there's a little bit of fanfare and stuff. Imagine if one Saturday a month, we just had a casual coffee where people could come in, no agenda, they have a question they can ask. They have a concern, they can express it. Somebody comes, great. Nobody comes, great. Doesn't matter. We at least have a couple of board members present, and at least one person from staff present. And that way, you know, one shouldn't be speaking that out of line, should be, you know, in agreement with what the board in general agrees or thinks on issues. But I think it would possibly give an opportunity for residents to come in and be involved in a very casual way and not think that something's, you know, sneaky's going on. I think it would improve communication.
Okay, you are hired. You'll take care of that.
And she just walked into that one.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, I think we got this communication issue squared away. Can we
I
move
think
on?
so.
Thank you. The last item on the agenda is the authorization to hire a part-time administrative person to help Karen. You guys have the memo in front of you, I handed it out. Please don't show it to anybody because it's actually got salaries on it. I didn't realize it when I handed it out. So read through this, I'm gonna make this motion. Or you can't get home if you don't use it. They find out what they make it, it's your fault. So basically what we're suggesting is taking a part-time person to help Ray with the work and clear out the stables administratively, and to help the general manager with his job. And we have historically had a temporary person in the summertime. So this is nothing new. Okay? Last thing before we leave, GM evaluation at the executive session next week. Don't forget that. We pushed that off twice around. Oh, you had one more thing to
I
say.
have one thing now, this isn't for the board to decide. I talked to a couple of residents at that splashdown. It was, and we should have thought of this before, but one of the problems we've got in here, a lot of people will talk about, we have the same people on all these committees, and it's usually retired people because of our meeting times. And I think that all the committees should seriously consider not having meetings any earlier than 6 p.m. at night. So all the commuters in here have an opportunity to serve in the committees and get some new blood in here.
It's a good idea.
Okay?
Very good idea.
We brought that up in the past, especially with the Public Safety Committee, and, we can't do that. Same thing with the LCC or the AC, we've always met at this time, we've always met at 4 and all that. And you're right, I mean, sometimes there's no way I can get down here.
Are they meeting tomorrow, the safety committee?
Yes.
And it's still 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, okay, so how does that work though? Do the committees establish their own time or
Sure.
does the board? do
Yeah,
it?
they establish a
I'm
time
not
and
on
a date
that. I really don't
of the
know.
day, you know.
Okay, well, I'll ask, I'm only on one committee that meets there a day, that's ACC.
Right.
I will ask them if they want to move it. Should I get, I don't know.
Yeah, I talked to Catherine about it. She said the only two committees that are really affected by a specific meeting time because of her work schedule, the LCC and the ACC. She said she can have their packages ready for them, and if there's any issues that come up the next month, she can get back with them and respond.
Okay.
The only hiccup I see is, the LCC, Catherine is instrumental in answering unanswerable questions.
Right.
She's got the history, knows the economy, and everything else that's going on.
Since they meet infrequently, she said she may adjust her work schedule to accommodate that.
She's done
Well,
meeting every
right
2
now,
weeks.
we only have 3 people, 3 residents besides 2 board members, right? On the LCC.
Right.
Yeah,
And they don't have a problem, I mean,
And
so right
John.
now, we could probably leave them alone.
John would have to adjust his work schedule as well as Catherine. I don't have a problem, I mean, I'm retired, so I don't care.
Right.
you know. But right now.
Who's the 2
John-
board members again? Who's the 2 board members again?
On the LCC?
For the LCC?
Don and
I
Bob.
think he's-
Oh, okay.
But, so, the LCC is limited to 5 members, so it really doesn't affect them, right?
No.
Okay, who's the other committee that it really affects?
Well,
Public safety.
well,
Well, public safety doesn't.
I'm talking about all of our committees. I'm talking like the.
No, no, I'm on the state, they meet at 7 o'clock at night, man, I want them to meet earlier.
Well, beautification committee, it's Zoom. Who can get that?
Communications?
No, beautification.
Oh,
committee.
beautification.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
originally,
no,
people
they're not.
were on a committee, you know, that was the, it worked for that committee.
Yeah.
They need some more help.
Well, why don't we do this, whoever's a board rep on each of these committees, recommend that they move their time back to 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
and let's see what the various committee members say. And let's go from there.
I just wanted the community to know that we need to do something like that, so we can get 2 people.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good idea.
All right, we're all done.
So this is all the communities that have